You guys are excited about the ice cream machine. You know who else was excited for some cold sweets?
Jesus?
Right.
So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I don't have the funds to purchase this size of a ship, but I wonder if I could get a boat on like my local lake and create a religious organization that owns the boat and then like offer communion wine out on the lake on the weekends.
Yeah.
Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
Where the characters are as quirky as the vines.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged. Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged, the only garage sales that are rotating.
What?
Rotating.
What do you mean rotating?
Okay, a door that's still functional, that is not hinged. Right? It's a rotating door. It's come on.
Couldn't you call a rotating door also unhinged?
And that's why I said the only
Oh.
garage sale that is rotating.
No, you
I'm
got.
your host, Jake, and the wet blanket in the room is Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Jake.
I'm bringing the energy. How are you doing?
I'm good, but whenever you said wet blanket, it makes me think that I peed the bed, but I haven't peed the bed in a long time.
Oh man, where you been? So how's 2025 for you so far?
Not too shabby. I mean, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm upright.
Okay, there you go. So, here's a question: have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes.
How is it? Would you recommend it? How many?
Um,
What's your Yelp review? How many stars are you giving it?
so I've been on 2 cruises, and they were both when I was in my younger 20s. Um, Cruising is good for some people. I don't necessarily care for them because whenever I go somewhere, I want to spend several days somewhere, and on a cruise, you stop at a port, you have a few hours there, and then you get back on the boat and you leave.
Right.
So, but for people that are traveling on a budget, cruises are actually really good. For people that want to have kind of this floating city and I want to go to a casino, I want to go to a restaurant and I want to do all that stuff, cruise is really great for that. I just like to go to a tropical location and stay there for a week and not have to get on a boat and maybe have dinner next to somebody else that I don't really like.
Yeah, yeah, so that's always a possibility on the cruise. You could be sitting next to the guy that, you know, like, can't help but breathe loudly.
I did see a meme on the socials the other day that had an older woman, like, screaming in terror at the camera, and it said underneath it of, like, "Margaret misunderstood the Viking cruise," and behind her was, like, all these Vikings rushing at her, and I was like, "Oh, poor Margaret."
So, I've never been on a cruise. I don't know. Maybe they're good and fun, I don't know, but I can make a hot dog and watch a movie. That's good too.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, they're like, "Yay, you get to eat the food you wanna eat," and
Oh my gosh. Did I ever tell you about the person I met on my cruise that has the same exact name as me?
what?
Okay, so I one of the cruises I went on was with my
That's
college roommates.
insane. Wait, the same first and middle and last name?
Yeah.
What? Go.
So,
Wow.
my college roommates and I were on this cruise, and we decided to go to, as early 20 somethings do, we decided to go to the midnight nacho bar on the cruise. And as you can imagine, man, some nacho cheese at midnight is a bad idea.
Mm.
Anyway, we go and we're the youngest people at the midnight nacho bar on the cruise ship. But I hear a group of people next to us and they're all talking and they have a strong Cajun accent. So, for the people listening, Jacob and I come from a Cajun family. I know you can't tell that by our accents now, but um,
It
if
wa
anyone's
it was
ever
it was whipped out of us.
it was. If anyone's ever watched the Adam Sandler movie The Waterboy and there's that assistant coach and he's just talking gibberish and he's not really saying anything and That's what our family sounds like, and I totally understand what the assistant coach is saying in that movie. Anyway, this group of people, they're talking, they have Cajun accent, so I walk over to them because I've also probably had a couple margaritas at this point, and I'm rolling on some nacho cheese. So I go over and talk to them. I said, "Hey, where are you guys from? Sounds like you're from Louisiana." Sure enough, they're from the area where our family is from in Southern Louisiana. I was like, "That's crazy." And I said, "Well, what's your last name?" And they shared their last name. And I said, "Hey, my last name is this." And they said, "What's your first name?" And I said, "Julie." And they said, "What's your middle name?" And I tell them my middle name. And they said, "No way, so is hers." And there was a lady on the cruise ship, probably 20 to 30 years older than me. We had the same exact first, middle, and last name.
Whoa.
Now, we're not first cousins, we're probably second, third, fourth cousins somewhere down the line, but, yeah, so I met the person who, if you Google me, she will also show up in the Google search. So, yeah.
Did you behead her and absorb her powers a la Highlander?
No, I did take a picture with her, and that picture lives somewhere in one of my photo albums so that I know if I ever have my identity stolen, it's probably her, and
Yeah, probably.
I have the
This is
photo proof to show
That's
the police.
amazing, like, that you both went on the same cruise, and so, like, at some point, did you, like, bump your arm and all of a sudden she's got a scar?
Oh, I don't
I think you were
know.
on, like, a time warp cruise, like, you met your future self, and
Honestly, I'm good with that because she was having a good time and she was fun and she was laughing. And if that's gonna be me, I mean, I'm now probably her age now, but I'm like, hey, if that's me in 20 to 30 years, life's pretty good. She was a
yeah,
lovely person.
she turns to you across the nacho bar and advises you to really buy into Enron stock, you know? Just, "Thanks, Julie. No problem, Julie."
People are always trying to find like their crystal ball moment. I'm like, no, no, no. It's the midnight nacho bar on a cruise ship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I should have asked her, hey, what are some lottery numbers I could take back?
right. I've never been on a cruise. Hey, a related unrelated question. Do you remember book fairs?
What do you mean, do I remember? I lived for them. I still want them to this day.
I know.
Actually, did you know that many libraries, especially my own library system, they have um, annually or maybe sometimes twice a year where you can go to the library and buy books that they're taking out of circulation? Now, if those libraries also added in pencils and stickers,
Ooh.
yeah, I am there for it.
Book fairs were so damn cool.
Mm.
Like, you really, like, would mark it on your calendar as, like, a elementary and middle school kid. You're like, "Oh, yes, book fair."
I loved it. Okay, so I think our audience knows I'm clearly a nerd. I love libraries, and as a kid going to, like, the elementary school library, I loved it. I love the smell of books. So, like, you love the smell of Academy, and it's like that leather smell. I love going into a library, and it just smells like books. Now, there's some libraries, they smell like dirty people, and I don't care for those, but my library system across the street from my neighborhood, it smells like books, and I love it.
Hmm. So, this is all gonna tie in at some point. So, I'm gonna call this episode Boaty McBookface. And so, boats, Julie. They say
Okay.
that the second best day of your life is when you buy a boat.
Um, I'm gonna well, because the first best day is whenever you sell the boat.
Right.
Yes.
'Cause it
My
sucks
my
to have a
husband used
boat.
my husband used to have a boat before he and I started dating, he had a boat, and now we have friends with boats, and those are the best boats to have.
That's right. You just try to keep them happy. You just, like, keep them a little bit liquored up so they don't sell the thing and you can't use it.
Yeah, if you take sandwiches for the boat, they invite you every time.
Why would the boat want a sandwich?
It likes, gasoline and sandwiches shoved into
That's
shoved into
I
the
can't
tank.
understand. Why can't I sell this boat? It doesn't work. I've been shoving sandwiches into the engine.
Ugh.
Nature is fuel.
It also helps that I'm pretty and people want to have pretty people on their boat.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
It's the good it is the kind of the Gilligan's Island principle. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been I've been invited on plenty of boats because I'm just a pretty face and I don't care. Okay.
Why haven't I been invited on one?
Because I'm also a woman.
Okay. Yeah. It is kind of a supply demand thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit garagesalesupply.com and make your next sale a success.
So I want to talk about a specific boat.
Okay. I
Eh,
thought I was just gonna talk about boats.
Well, feel free because that's where we're going. We're set sail with me.
Oh god.
So there's a ship that is now. I mean, boats kind of like unlike you. Over time, boats, if they are bought and sold and used for different purposes or refurbished, they adopt a new name. Unlike you maintain the same name through a portal of time that's found on a cheap Carnival cruise. But this boat is now called the Logos Hope. Logos, yes, Hope. So it the term logos is like kind of from the Greek, meaning meaning or thought or principle or something like that.
Okay.
So this is an actual boat that's in operation right now. It kind of looks like a modest cruise ship. Kind of looks like a cheap cruise ship. It's from the 70s. Its nautical history started in the 70s in Germany, and it started off as a car ferry. It'd be one of these boats that just like jammed full of cars that they're moving from this place to that place. And it operated a lot in like the Nordic area. It'd go like between that part of Europe and Sweden and stuff like that.
Sounds sexy. I'm here for it.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to get a great tan. So it did that for a bit. Since then, the ship was bought and sold several times, served similar purposes in a similar region. Here, most recently, it received a whole bunch of upgrades in the early mid 2000s, and now is the Logos Hope. Now, I bring this up and want to tie in the book fair thing and what we generally talk about with this portion. So the Logos Hope is it deems itself the world's largest floating book fair.
Oh my god. Yes, I wanna go there.
And but they have a nacho bar. So what Logos Hope does, it goes port to port, packed with books. And a lot of the ports it pulls up to are places that don't have wide access to books. So a lot of these folks, this is their first real opportunity to buy some quality literature.
I love this.
He's saying they pull up, they set up at the port for a few weeks to serve, and like from what they say, they have thousands of people every day they're there.
How do I get to go work at this Logos Hope? This sounds fantastic. I was looking at their ports of call
Hmm.
and like coming up, they're going to St. Lucia, they're going to Grenada. I just came back from Aruba. I'd go back.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I can shelve books. Like, come on, I want to do
I mean,
this.
from what I saw, the next place it's going is Trinidad and Tobago. There's places that
They're
are so
currently there.
exotic, I don't know how to say them.
Trinidad, and Tobago, they're currently there. They'll be there until, well, by the time that this airs, they will have already left, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, how do you get in on this? It's an entirely volunteer crew and staff.
I mean, okay, I would totally do it, except I get pretty seasick, so I don't know if they would want me there.
Yeah. It's like, so do you have any questions about the position? We think we're ready to like say yes to this. Do you have any questions? Do we have to be at sea?
Can I
I'm
just
really
meet
more of
you
a
at
land person.
Can I just meet you at port and you, like, get me an Airbnb on the
You
beach
fly me
and
there, set me up in this specific hotel, must have nacho bar. Uh, I also need my doppelganger to be within arm's reach.
You know, if she and I had the same blood type, Oh man, I think I just found some extra organs that I could possibly use.
I hope you guys did the whole mirror thing. Like you put up one hand and she puts up the same hand and you kind of like do that whole thing for like the rest of the cruise.
We might have. There was a lot of alcohol on the cruise, so who
Mm.
knows?
So this is a completely voluntary staff. It's multinational. It's people from, well, frankly, from the photos that they have on their website showing the crew and staff kind of displaying their nation's flags. It's about every country in the world except America, except the US. So I don't know if that might take you out of the running there, bud. But so they pull up, they serve the community, like make you know open its doors. People can browse and purchase books at severe, like it's nothing like you and I might pay in retail.
Yeah.
They also have restaurant inside. So for you've seen some of the ports they pull up to, some of the parts of the world they pull up to. They spent so much time just going around the coasts of Africa. Um, it's the first chance that people that make use of the boat get to like get access to these books. And there's an ice cream machine on this boat. And people is like thrilled. I'm gonna go get some ice cream for once. And they can do it.
I mean, this is just genius marketing because it's kind of like the McDonald's that have the playgrounds. Kids want to go and yeah, they like the Happy Meal, but also the playground. And for a parent, you get to let your kids go and play on the playground while you can just sit there and zone out. Like, oh, thank
Yeah.
like.
Stakes
But
are a
your
little
daughter
higher
did.
here. Like, just leave them on the boat.
But
We'll
your
like we'll catch him when they get back around here in 2 years.
that's how they get their their employees. But your daughter did tell us a story at Christmas time about her experience in a McDonald's playhouse, and,
Oh yeah. Those are
yeah,
all positive.
they really need to be cleaned more often.
Yeah, yeah. So what Logos Hope is actually part of is a broader program, and I've got it written down. I'm gonna find the name of the thing. This is a German organization called, ready for this? Gut Bücher für alle. So good books for all.
Oh, Jake, that was beautiful
Thank
German.
you. I know, right? That I had a lot of chocolate in preparation. Uh, but it's a German faith-based organization.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
that there's the catch, right?
Oh, that's awesome, but also I'm like, that's how religion keeps getting richer. They bought these huge boats and now it's a tax write-off to like go to these places, provide this wonderful service for these countries that need access to books. And oh, guess what? We're doing it for the Lord's work and we're just going to go ahead and take that out of the tax
I know
write-off.
you guys are excited about the ice cream machine. You know who else was excited for some cold sweets?
Jesus.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I don't have the funds to purchase this size of a ship. But I wonder if I could get a boat on, like, my local lake and create a religious organization that owns the boat and then, like, offer communion wine out on the lake on the weekends.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually years back. I was looking at a house and looking into the history of the house. At some point, a church, quote unquote church, operated out of that house,
Uh-oh.
and and I looked up like details about the church. And the church had one member, so somebody had done the whole thing. They were like, "Oh, it's a church, therefore no taxes and stuff like that."
Oh, no, no, no. Like, for my membership, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm happy to give you some of the Lord's wine, but I need you to become a member." I would have 10,000 members at Party Cove on the weekend, and my religious faith-based organization would own that boat, and it would be the party boat for the Lord.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's the question. So part of what these guys do, they also they go to different parts of the world where people have various needs, and the qualified staff also go into the community. They go off the boat, they go into the community, and they provide services.
That's
You
awesome.
might be training people, teaching people, "Hey, here's how, you wire, like, wire for electricity," provide medical services. They provide a lot of, like, eyeglasses.
Mhm.
So that got me wondering, if you got in on this, what skill would you teach? Like, what's the newest skill that you've picked up that you think you could train someone in that setting?
So here's the thing, like, because these are probably communities that need skills that they can apply today in whatever community they are in.
What I'm hearing you saying is you've got nothing of value now.
I don't. So, I mean, okay, so if I was gonna, okay, I'll be serious for a half minute. Um, I think I could help with like gardening techniques. Like I do like to garden. Um, However, here's the thing. I have found out that my garden does really well when I ignore it. I'm like, okay, so if you plant these at this time and water it twice and then walk away for like 6 weeks, come back, you'll have a bounty of vegetables. And I don't think that's the case for
Yeah,
everywhere.
probably not gonna work.
And I think my garden hates me because it's like, oh, good, she left. Now we can thrive. And then I go back in a few weeks and it's like, oh crap, she's here. She's seen what we've done. And so yeah, I don't really know how gardening works. Jacob, this is hard. I'm also not really good at like, I mean, I could teach people how to market themselves. I don't I don't know how that's gonna help. I mean, if they had a small business in their local community, I could help them with like, "Hey, have you thought about how you get more people to come in here? Is your pricing strategy correct?" And like I could help them run a small business. Let's say that.
Maybe, but, you gotta think like, hey, like the regulatory scene there is a little different, and so who knows?
Y- Here like we usually say you want to put 25% aside to pay taxes from your small business and all that stuff. Well, over there it may be like, okay, you want to put 50% aside to pay the government under the table and then like so what do you do with the
Yeah,
I,
right. What
well, I will say I could probably teach people about personal finance, but again, I would need to understand their culture and their government regulations in order to help them understand personal finance.
and I'm seasick. I'm a shoo-in. That's right. Oh, like, reading in a car didn't even work for me. You want me to get in front of a book on a boat?
I mean,
I'm gonna travel through time.
okay, so we're all at port. I mean, if they needed me to, I could chum the water.
Oh god.
I've done that before. You're welcome, fish.
So, yeah, the Logos Hope is out
Oh,
there.
no, 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 no. You ain't going past that. What would you do?
Oh. Well, I had like it was like a two-part question, and I felt like you kind of made the most of one part of it. It was like, "Hey, what's the newest skill you have that you would teach?" The other question was, "What's one of the oldest skills that you feel you would teach?"
Um, the oldest skill.
Well, like, there's things if you think about it, there's things you've learned through time, and, like, you've learned enough, maybe some things you get better at over time, maybe some things that kinda stay static. Some of those skills you don't draw upon for years at a time, but when it comes up, you realize, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I know how to do this." You didn't always know about, digital marketing or anything like that. It you didn't, 'cause you predated that.
No, I was part of me where my brain went while you saw that look on my face was like, you have these prodigies that, do math and science and music. There's no prodigy for digital marketing.
Yeah.
And if there is, lame.
Yeah, that is really lame. They're not gonna make a movie of your life, loser.
No, no one's watching me crack the code of that SEO algorithm.
Yeah, yeah. We have to crack the code. Hurry! The comet's coming toward Earth. Yes, of course.
I got 450,000 likes on that post. The comment was redirected.
Right, there's no such thing.
Yay! I don't I'm gonna have to think about this like oldest skill. I want to know you. Like, what's your newest skill that you could teach another community?
I am, maybe I'm more prepared to say newest, actually.
Okay.
that I thanks to quality nonstick cookware, I've gotten to where I can flip a fried egg without using a spatula.
Why would that community need to
Yeah,
know
well,
that?
those are like, they need to be over medium.
So whenever you're doing your own Instagram, live reel, that people will be really impressed.
That's right.
Uh,
The oldest skill, I don't know, man. Like, honestly, I think don't knock it. Teaching literacy is a thing.
that's kinda where my brain was going. I'm like, I think I could help people read and do, like, conceptual understanding of the written word and stuff like that. So, because again, I think Jake, I know this is gonna come across as so pretentious, but I think knowledge is very powerful, and so for communities, he just
I made a face.
he
I
did
know.
roll his eyes.
Yeah.
And I think he swallowed his tongue a little bit. Um, but I think for communities that can read and understand the things that are happening around them, um, they're able to make better decisions. They can actually run their own companies. They can run their own business. They can succeed in school. They can succeed out of school. So I think that literacy and understanding that is huge. Like I'm a big supporter of reading is fundamental, and they do that for a bunch of communities, not only in America but outside the United States, and not only for children but for adults too. So I think that's huge.
Yeah. So it's a cool program. It's a it's kind of the it's a cross point. It's like a Venn diagram of something that I am very familiar with, the books, and something I am not at all familiar with, the cruises, and so it was just a neat thing. So if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in what's the next stop?
Their next one, so they have 2 boats, the other boat's in Taiwan.
Right.
Logos Hope, their next stop will be St. Lucia, and then after that, it's gonna be Grenada, and then Aruba, and then Curacao. Also, so I was recently in Aruba, and on the
I gotta
back.
thank you real quick. I mean, I want to hear about the Aruba story, but I want to thank you for saying all of those names because I would have totally whiffed on several of them. I would have said like Curacao and Saint Lucia. I I don't know.
Well, let me say the rest of them: St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then St. Lucia. Um,
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. That's a band, right?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Um, so whenever we were in Aruba, one, there's a lot of times I get on a plane and I'm not really sure where I'm going. I just know like I'm going to this location. And then once I get there, I pull it up on a map and I'm like, oh wow, this is really close to this other thing. So the house that we were at, I could stand on the back porch of this house and look out across the water and I can see Venezuela. And I was like, oh, I'm real close to South America. So I was trying to convince the husband, let's just take a few more days off and let's go into like South America and knock off another continent. But apparently we had to get back to work, whatever.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Boo.
You should have told him like, but I'm consulting sick. You're like, I've gone 4 hours without a nacho bar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whenever I think about that nacho bar, my stomach still hurts. So,
I am just blown away. And I really feel like you upstaged the whole topic here by I mean, it's one thing to run into somebody with the same first name, and we do not have a commonplace last name.
no,
So the fact that you ran into somebody with the same last name, let alone the same first and middle name, that's some weird stuff.
it's black magic.
Yeah, you were in an episode of Twin Peaks: Miami. Like, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. The midnight. That should be like the title of my memoir, The Midnight Nacho Bar. Yeah.
Well, that's what I've got, Julie, but, thanks for, freaking us out with your Freaky Friday, and I will talk to you later.
This is great, Jake. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.